Carousel.
Yeah.
Carousel.
Yeah.
Carousel. This the carousel. On or you off. Either you're on or you're off. Either you're on or you're off.
What?
Knock 'em out. Carousel.
Yeah.
Carousel.
Yeah.
Carousel. This the carousel. On or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. Either you're on or you're off.
What?
Knock 'em out.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Did you miss me? Sunday morning, you know what's up. It's week 10, and we have a black and blue division matchup on Monday night. The Minnesota Vikings at 3-5 and resurging back into the picture is facing the Chicago Bears at 5-4, and people are starting to question them. Now, for the untrained eye, people are like, Chicago's got this matchup. They won 4 of the last 5. What the hell? 2020. Let me bring in my good friend and Minnesota Vikings representative, Colin Ireland.
What's going on, Alex? How you doing?
Hey, it's a beautiful Sunday morning. I'm off work and I'm not answering the phone. I'm all right. What's your plans for the day?
Well, I've got laundry and one day of the week that I have off, I got laundry to do. But I'll probably go and watch some games somewhere. So we'll see.
Right on. With that being said, let me enter in a guy who's representing my home city all the way from New Mexico because he puts it on. Eddie BW, welcome.
How's it going?
Hey, man. Hey, you saying what I want to say but can't say.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Now, this is an NFC North battle, so no, this is not going to be the faint at heart. Colin will be representing his team, Minnesota. Eddie, who is at home, is going to go last and represent the Chicago Bears. You know the rules. It's 2 minutes. Try not to give too many low blows. 30-second pause in between so you can catch your breath. Colin, floor is yours.
All right. Well, the Vikings have come on a recent hot streak as of late. Justin Jefferson has been a killer, as well as not to even talk about Dalvin Cook, who's been literally the best running back in the NFL over the last month. I don't think there's really any debate on that. Quietly, and I'm sure that Ben's going to talk about how Kirk Cousins is 0-9 on Monday Night Football and all this and that. Quietly, Cousins has been very effective as of late. He hasn't turned the ball over. He's gotten guys like Irv Smith Jr., who sadly won't be in the game this week, but has finally gotten him involved. Found ways to utilize Dalvin Cook, and the offensive line has started to kind of gel together a little bit better than what it has before. That being said, we've had a cold streak against the Bears, but I think that cold streak's coming to an end this week. So we'll see how it goes.
You got plenty of time left on the clock, Colin. That's all you got to say?
I'm curious what he has to say. I'll give him more time. I'm curious to see it's curious to see if he can explain why the Bears have taken such a nosedive in the last 3 weeks. So kind of curious to hear what he has to say.
He taking shots. Ben, floor's yours.
The obvious.
All right. Well, since you want to know, we can start there. People were calling them the luckiest 5-1 team 3 weeks ago. And sure, especially after that Rams loss, you could probably go ahead and say that. But the Rams are the most hot and cold team in the league. The Bears just happen to run into them in a week that they're hot. Then you take a look at the Saints. They took them all the way to overtime in comeback fashion. So you can't tell me that they're a bad team when the next week, look at what the Saints did to the Bucs. Then go to last week, the Titans. I don't know why people aren't starting to call them a pretender, especially after the egg they laid on Thursday night against the Colts. And speaking of the Titans, that game was just an offensive disaster for both teams, except for the fact that the Bears' run defense was actually the reason the Titans couldn't run on them. They held Derrick Henry to his second lowest yards per game this season. So you want to talk about Dalvin Cook being great. Derrick Henry's right up there. 1-2, Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook. It could go either way depending on the week. The Bears shut down Dalvin Cook. What are the Vikings going to do? Have Kirk Cousins throw the ball? The guy that's 0-9 on Monday night. And by the way, you can't even pass on him anymore. Danny Trevathan was probably the biggest question mark. Tight ends were getting a lot of open stuff over the middle, short. He got those snaps. He didn't get the preseason. He got the reps in, and all of a sudden this defense is looking like it did last year, like it did 2 years ago. And the quarterback play just has to be good enough. So I'm looking at it that, yeah, maybe Lazar isn't the best replacement for Matt Nagy at play calling, but something needed to change, right? We had a 3-headed disaster last week: O-line, quarterback, and play calling. Well, now it's down to 2, and really, if we get the quarterback to just be good enough, that offensive line, we might be able to bail them out, especially with the defense the way they're playing right now.
Okay. All right. He took it a little bit personal, too. He was like, if we take away Dalvin Cook, what the hell y'all gonna do? You can't really pass on them. Chicago is one of the best when it comes to the secondary. So, you know what? Colin, do what you got to do. You guys are favored in this matchup some way, somehow. But 45 seconds. It's yours.
Well, I think the bigger question mark with Chicago is their lack of protection and zero running game. I mean, you could have a college defense and stop that running attack for Chicago. So, I mean, who do you have this week? Something called Pierce, Lamar Miller, and his 15th team in the NFL. I mean, who are you going to throw out there? Vikings have Kirk Cousins, and they have Jefferson, and they got Thielen. I'll take those guys over your Allen Robinson, and then who else? I'm just curious who you got. I mean, I just trolling practice squads looking for you, whoever you treaded up, but couldn't quite find anybody.
You hear this, Ben. You hear this. Get them.
So you want to look at who they got at running back. They got a guy, Ryan Dahl. He worked his way up from the practice squad. So, yeah, probably not the best talent, but you want to talk about a guy that's going to come at you hard? It's Ryan Dahl. You want to talk about wide receivers? Allen Robinson might actually be hurt, which will probably help the Bears because both Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles tend to force the ball to him. And they got a rookie in Darnell Mooney, who I'd put up against Justin Jefferson any day of the week with how he's been producing. Wow. Then if Anthony Miller comes out and actually has a good game and gets open, you got him all day long too. And let's not forget Cole Kmet and Jimmy Graham, who's having a career resurgence after everybody thought he was done playing for the Saints a few years ago.
All right, so nothing's going to be settled until Monday night, but let me just get an honest reaction here. Everybody expects Minnesota to win this game for some reason, even though Chicago's won 4 of the last 5. So let's say Minnesota loses. Kirk Cousins, Monday night. Where does Minnesota go from here, Colin?
I mean, they have the easiest schedule for the rest of the year in the NFC. I mean, I think they can go wherever they want to go. I mean, they don't play Green Bay anymore. They play Detroit. They play Detroit. They play Chicago at home. So I don't know. I mean, I don't put a lot of stock into a couple of the Bears wins the last couple of years. I mean, last year you beat a Vikings team that had their second string and you're playing your first string. And you only won by 1. And the year before, I mean, all you had to do was lose to the Vikings and then you would have played us in Soldier. But you won and then you ended up getting beat by the Eagles on double doink. So, I mean, I don't know if your strategy has been all that keen, but I would think about it. But we'll see. We'll see if the Bears have anything. I mean, I've never questioned their defense. With Akeem Hicks being healthy this year, that's what's helped your team pretty much backpack it through those games when your offense didn't do anything. So,
hey, Ben, real talk. Dalvin Cook's for real. I'm not worried about Thielen. For some reason, we got some music for that funky white boy. Jefferson scares me. What's the plan on Monday?
I think it's pretty easy. You got to stop the run, force them to pass, make them one-dimensional. You know, another guy that we didn't talk about was Jalen Williams. Why can't I think of his last name? It's because I'm trying to think of it now.
Jalen Johnson, Utah.
Jalen Johnson, thank you. Yeah, he's looking like one of the best cornerbacks, rookie cornerbacks out of this class. And the other thing you got to think about, too, is for the Bears, this is an absolute must-win. Looking at those last 3 games, they really needed to win one of them to put them in a good position going into this week. Next week, they got the bye, and then they got the Packers. So, always go into this idea of trying to win the North. To win the North, everybody knows you have to split with the Packers. It doesn't matter if you're the Bears, Vikings, or Lions. So if the Bears can come out and win tonight, take a little momentum, rest, heal up, be fresh for the Packers, that's the real big thing they got to look at because the Packers are going to be able to hit them with everything, run, pass, you name it. I'm hoping tonight they stop the run, make them one-dimensional, and it's game over. Tomorrow, sorry.
Close enough.
Right on.
I'm excited.
Gentlemen, I want to thank you for getting up early this Sunday morning. Colin Ireland might be running into you in the future. Ben Ware from BTT Football. It's a football world, and we just live in it. As you can see, it's the carousel. Either you're on or you're off.
Carousel.
Yeah.
Carousel.
Yeah.
Carousel. This the carousel. On or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. Either you're on or you're off.
What?
Knock 'em out. Carousel.
Yeah.
Carousel.
Yeah.
Carousel. This the carousel. On or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. Either you're on or you're off.